Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending. My name is Bruce Reid. I am the CEO of Liberty Silver. The name of the company will get changed to Bunkerhill Mining in about a month and a half, and we'll change the ticker. The ticker is currently LSL. Liberty Silver was the shell upon which we got public. This is our 6th day of trading. Let me start by telling you that this is one of the most storied mines in American history. This ranks up with Homestake and Anaconda in the Butte area. This is a mine that has significant history for most Americans in the mining industry. I will also say that this is the most important project in terms of size and importance that I will ever be involved in, and I've been at this for nearly 40 years. This is the largest lead-zinc silver deposit in the Americas that is not in production. The group of people that I've assembled with us, we've all got a lot of experience in the mining industry, but specifically in the Silver Valley where the Bunkerhill mine is located. The Bunkerhill was the largest deposit in the Silver Valley. It's at the west end. You've got a lot of big names that are there, from Lucky Friday to Galena to Sunshine to Crescent, but the Bunker was the biggest of them all. This was the second largest cleanup site in American history. And I mention that because most people hear the name Bunker and they think of the EPA. This project operated, and it was discovered in 1880, started production in 1885, operated until 1981. During that time, it went public from 1905 to 1968 when it was the subject of a hostile takeover. But during that period, it was one of the 3 mines that were on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it did pay a continuous dividend, which was very unusual, even through the Depression. In 1981, the company was pushed into receivership and finally bankruptcy in 1993, and this had to do with the smelters. This was one of the largest mining and smelting operations in the United States, but it was the smelter that pushed it into bankruptcy. The mine itself was never the subject of any of the cleanup, and it has been given a completely clean bill of health by the EPA and the Department of Justice. The only thing that the EPA has asked us is that we take over the water treatment plant when we finish our letter of intent with the underlying owners. This is currently in a letter of intent that gets converted into a definitive agreement on July the 29th. And the way we end up owning it is we pay $30 million, $15 million in the first 10 years, $15 million in the last 15 years. This operation produced 36 million tons during its 100-year history of operation. When they shut it down, it had over 60 million tons of resource, which contained 12 million ounces of SEC class reserve. We're only looking at about 4.5 to 5.5 million of those reserves in an area called the Quill and the Newgard. The reserves in that area are roughly 9% combined lead zinc with about 1 ounce of silver. There is, though, within that considerable high-grade material where you get zones that do run as high as 15 to 25% combined lead zinc. As I mentioned with the EPA, they did finish cleaning up the Silver Valley. It now, for those of you who are Canadian, it looks like Banff. And as long as we're doing underground mining, there is absolutely no concern with the EPA. As I say, they've given us a clean bill of health and said, please, open a mine, give this area a lot of jobs. Our intention is to go back in, look at all the reserves that we're interested in. We'll do some sampling and some drilling, but keep in mind, the infrastructure is incredible in this deposit. Most of it is dewatered. We can walk in. All the ramps are fully operational. The hoists are still fully operational. Our intention is to get in there within the next couple of weeks, start sampling. We can walk up to just about every operating face that we'd want to see, as well as take a couple of drills underground and just do some drilling. And we'll complete a 43-101 probably before the end of 2017. And our intention is to then list it onto the TSX, not the venture, but the TSX itself, and also the American Exchange, which is now known as the New York Stock Exchange market. I mentioned the underground. Like I said, the infrastructure, the underground is all developed. Everything we're looking for. But outside, we've got all the various things you'd want. There's a town there. This deposit sits 500 meters south of Interstate 90. There's a lot of other infrastructure in the valley. There's also a considerable workforce, and I can tell you that a lot of people are going to want to come and work at the bunker. In terms of mining jobs, this is a sweetheart. We're operating where we're mining 50 to 200 foot widths. The ambient temperature is 65 Fahrenheit. It's a safe mine to work in, as opposed to quite a number of others that are in the area. The other point I will make is 100% of the ground that we're operating on is patented ground. This means a lot in the state of Idaho. It allows us to get into production without applying for any permits. The only part of it that we have to be careful of is the effluent, but as I said, the EPA has asked us to take over their water treatment plant, and with it comes the effluent treatment permit. And finally, I want to talk about the capital structure. As you may have understood when I first started this, I've done this before several times. Actually, to tell you the truth, this is the 7th mine that I've taken over, and I will tell you that 6 of those 7 are now in production. The last one I think will get into production probably by 2019. I was the CEO of Carlisle Goldfields, sold that to Alamos about a year ago. The capital structure of this mine, and this comes from a lot of experience, we currently have 24.5 million shares. There are no cheap stock in this situation. The average price in for the original founder is 67 cents. My entry point, along with everybody that's participated with me, is $1. Out of the 24.5 million shares, 19.5 is owned and controlled by the insiders, the original founder and the 3 managers, including myself. All of that stock is in escrow, and the only way it can be sold is when there's a change of control. In other words, only when I sell the company. And of those 19.5, I vote 100%, so that I know that I can take this company to the direction that it needs without having to worry about outside interference. And it also allows us to make a very strong market in the stock. As I mentioned at the beginning of this is one of the most storied mines in American history. This is easily the most important and the largest package of property that I will ever become involved in. And I truly wish that a lot of you will step up, buy stock in the market. We will be doing a financing, but like I said, this is a stock that I do believe is going to go a lot higher based on this asset. It's very unusual that something like this appears on the market, given its size and given its history. Thank you very much.